Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
I'm Michael Burke, and this is Money Talks. Hi, welcome to Money Talks. I'm Michael Burke, and we're here at Molbeck's Spice and Health Shop today in West Racine with owner Rhonda Masilian, and this should be an interesting show for anybody who is interested in their health and ways to optimize it. Rhonda, why don't we're going to save a lot of time to talk about some of the products you have here and some of the things people can buy at your store, but let's just give a brief history of the business. Who started it, and where does the name Molbeck come from?
Well, Jim Molbeck started it in the 1950s, and it started out as a neighborhood grocery store. And I actually grew up with the Molbeck store. I lived a couple blocks down from it and went for my penny candy.
The stuff that was on the long paper strip, right?
Well, no, just penny candy.
Oh, okay, in general?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
25 cents, bought a lot of candy. From there, I think in the 70s, he brought in more of the supplements that we're seeing now and the bulk items he always had.
And this was all at the previous location on Washington?
On Washington and Wright Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a woman, Judy Reinhardt, that worked for him, and she actually ended up buying it from Jim and owned it for 19 years. I actually worked for Judy for 5 and bought it from her, and now I've owned it for 6. Okay. And when I bought it, I actually moved the business to the present location here.
And what's the address here?
3212 Washington Avenue.
Mm-hmm. What were some of the reasons? This is a much better location for obvious reasons to me as a business reporter, but why don't you mention some of the reasons you wanted it here instead?
For just foot traffic alone was a big one. And where we were at, we were kind of isolated, and Washington Avenue down there is getting, it's kind of fast for, we have a lot of senior citizens that come on Wednesday. We've got a 10% on Wednesday. So we have a lot of people that are coming. Well, we were getting toward the end that we were actually walking out to the cars because we thought it was kind of dangerous for them. But so in this location, we actually have a back door, so they can park in the back for free. Mm-hmm. And
that beautiful free parking lot.
I know,
back there.
And we have and it's there's signage back there so they can find us. Mm-hmm. And that West Racine, I said again because I grew up in the area, is very close to my heart, and I just believe in that the West Racine.
I assume it's been a good move for you.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. Well, you're in expansion mode, and we're actually doing the story at a really interesting time. But the first thing you did was add this second storefront.
It's been a little over 6 months that we've opened up to the second side here.
And the store feels a lot better now.
It's not so. Yeah.
Do you have more product than you had before?
We do. We were able to expand on bulks. We actually have a little corner for children that we had dedicated that we never had before. The cosmetics area, the personal care area, we've been able to bring in more products. So yeah, actually it's worked out very well.
And I want to come back to the expansion in a second, but also speaking of corners, we're using a table that you call your resource table.
Yes.
Explain that.
Resource. I think that sets us apart from the big box stores is that we have the service here, and we like to give customers as much information as they possibly can. We actually have a computer that we use. That's in the first room. And then back here, it's set off to the side where people can actually sit down and have quiet time. And then we've got resource books that they can look up.
Yeah, like this one here.
Yeah, different things, and take their time and take notes and be able to take it
Notepad
home.
and pens and things
take
like
it
that.
home with them. Yes.
And that computer, by the way, is pretty cool. That's one of those touch screens, so you can look.
Oh, it's a major resource that we use here. It from A to Z for our herbs, and it even has food items on that too. And you can ask it a question if you have hypertension or gallstones, even cancer is even on there. So you can get a nice printout to take home that you can read at your leisure, and then actually talk to your doctor, your pharmacist, with what you've got in mind, and
it's beautiful.
And go from
free printout on whatever your condition is.
It's well used.
And we'll come back to a lot of the supplements, but let's just finish the expansion aspect of your business. This show goes live on August 28th of 2013, the day that what happens?
I'm opening a second location in Kenosha at 7539 39th Avenue, and it's a smaller version of this, but very excited. So that will be the grand not the grand opening, kind of a soft opening. We'll have a grand opening a month later. Mm-hmm. So I have to look for that in the newspapers.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you're able to do that.
Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah. How would you describe your customer base, and is it changing in any way since you bought the business?
I think it's very diverse. I think moving here has brought in more younger people, because I believe West Racine is young families, and we're seeing more of that, which is wonderful. I mean, we need to have the young people come in to keep us growing. So, very diverse.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's survey the product lines. Let's mention the main product lines of this store.
Main product lines is our supplements, our vitamin supplements. A close second is our spices. We have over 100 spices, over 70 of them are organic.
I've been buying those here for years, by the way, and once you get, and you also carry these nice little vials about this big.
Yeah,
and once
the spice jars. Yeah, and it's real reasonable.
And once you have that, then you just buy them in the little packets.
In the little packets, kind of a packet like this. And refill them.
It's much cheaper, by the way, than...
Much cheaper, and they're fresh, because you know that we go through them so much. So we're constantly, we're restocking probably daily or every other day. So you know that you're getting the fresh of the freshest.
Yeah, that's great. And when you look at the spice prices in the grocery store aisles, they're very expensive.
They're expensive.
Yeah. What are some of the other product lines?
Well, then we have our bulks, flours, rices, beans, different sugars, and then we have...
Like raw sugar, which I started buying years ago.
Raw sugars.
Mm-hmm.
A new sugar that's kind of new to us within the last year is xylitol, which we even have products, mouthwashes, toothpaste, and candy that a local dentist asked us for us to bring in, because it fights oral bacteria. So that's... we've got quite a bit of
So what is xylitol?
Products. Xylitol, it's another sweetener, but it combats oral bacteria.
Really?
So good product out there, and they're just now making products with it. Toothpaste, mouthwash.
Mm-hmm. And then what? And then you have coolers too. What are some of the things in the coolers?
Nuts. We've got raw, roasted, every nut you can think of. We have wheat and gluten-free. We've had for years, but now, we've had it for years before it's gotten such media attention. Mm-hmm. Now most of grocery stores are now carrying lines of that too, but we still do carry the popular items, and dried fruits. We have dried fruits, and then we have the dry herbs that I've got a few on the table. That anything that we have in dry herbs, we usually have in capsule form too.
Well, let's talk about some of the things that you chose to put on the table today for the show. Why don't we start with the honey?
Oh.
Why did you choose that?
Well, the honey I wanted to tell you about, that we have local honey, and it's from, his name is William, and it's called East Troy Honeys, and he's got beehives on Highway 31 and KR. And a lot of people ask if it's raw, and it is. It can be considered raw by the FDA standards, because it's been only heated to an internal temperature of the beehive itself. So it can still be considered raw. Mm-hmm. And I know you don't lose the nutrients if it's not been processed, at a high temperature. So that's.
I've only been recently becoming aware that raw honey is supposed to have some amazing properties, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like what?
Well, B vitamins are very high, gives you energy. And now too, they've done studies where if you do a local honey, that it helps with the allergies. So,
Right, if it's local and raw.
Yes.
Yeah, something
So,
about the pollen, which I think is fascinating.
yeah, major. It's a good product, and he's got. I think there's 4 different kinds: wild basswood and the dark buckwheat,
Oh, yeah.
which is. A lot of people like it. It's a very intense flavor.
Mhm.
It's even higher in nutrients, but you have to like that darkness.
What else have we got out here?
And as long as we're talking about local, I have Karen from BSW Farms. She's from Union Grove, and I have her eggs, and we now have her grass-fed beef. So that's being offered.
What else do you have out here?
Well, the farm oil, the aloe vera, I think everybody should just have that in their medicine cabinet. It's wonderful for heartburn. You should have it for burns. It's for chapped skin. I mean, it's just
I know
got
it is.
an array of.
I know it is like a magical plant for
Yeah,
exterior things, for sunburns and cuts
Absolutely.
and things like that.
Absolutely.
But not so much, I haven't experienced it internally myself.
We sell, and that's what we mainly sell it for, is for heartburn and tummy troubles. So, good product. The next one is olive leaf. I brought a couple things out just because of the season. Actually, I'm seeing some people coming in now with colds. Summer colds are the worst, but olive leaf is, there was a story that I tell customers. It was an actual customer that had told me about this remedy. He had come in, he was plagued with chronic sinus infections. And we do have a couple different brands, but it was the Solgar that he had purposely had picked out and said that this is the one that he used, and that it worked for him. He said when he had a flare-up that he would take 3, one in the morning, afternoon, and night. And once that he got into control, and he said that the chronic sinus infections just were no more. It was a history. And it was funny because the day that he was in there telling me about this, there was other women in the store about my same age that had come over and said, as soon as he left, what was that product that he had? Well, they both bought the product and came back and said that it worked for him. So, and we've had other people come back since.
Specifically for sinus infections?
Sinus infections.
Okay.
I don't have really, a lot of people around, especially Racine because of the big lakes, do have sinus problems. So that is a big issue here. Not so much I don't have it, but I do have it because it still works the same way like the colds, like you were talking about, the Sparrow. This olive leaf, the same way. If you take it right when you're feeling something going on, and you know your own body, when you're feeling something a little bit off, if you pop, olive leaf right away, usually it can, stop it in its tracks, or the severity can be lessened.
Well, let's pick, you just dropped Asparatox. Let's mention that one, and I mentioned that to you because that's when I discovered here maybe 5 years ago or something like that.
And it's a big seller.
Yeah, these little pills, they're actually delicious. You chew them, and I only use it when I feel the lymph nodes swelling up and getting sore.
And it's that echinacea that's in there. So another good product to have at home, especially just to have, you don't want to go out when you're already feeling bad. You want to have something that you can take right then. So another good thing to have on hand. And with talking about the colds, that'll lead right into this. The slippery elm. We have this. You can make a tea. This is a loose leaf. We call it loose leaf herb, loose leaf tea. And slippery elm is great for the sore throat. And mullein leaf.
Does it just take away the hurt, or does it cure something, or what?
Well, it takes away the hurt, and it's a soothing.
So that's kind of from the American Indians, right?
Absolutely,
they use that.
absolutely,
yeah.
And we have lozenges too that are made out of slippery elm. So it's been around for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, another good thing, and the mullein leaf is really reasonable. This whole big bag is $1.11.
Wow.
For coughs, it opens up their bronchial tubes, and I've even got children that'll take it as long as you put a little honey in it. It's not horrific or anything. So
and I happen to know this is lamb's ear, the really fuzzy leafed plant. You'll find it in the wild here.
Oh.
Yeah, lamb's ear. It shoots up a stalk and then yellow flowers on the stalk.
Very cool. And then we have hibiscus, which it's got a wonderful taste, and it's great for high blood pressure. hypertension. So, and I've made this,
caught
we've
my
actually had it
attention.
for, we've had it in the store for a treat. We made it with apple cider vinegar, or apple cider, not apple cider vinegar, apple cider, and then put the hibiscus in it, turned
Oh,
it
really?
a beautiful
Oh.
burgundy,
Oh.
and gave it a little extra, little zing. It was
Oh,
good.
wow.
So, and I
So
said,
that's for high
and
blood pressure.
good for high blood pressure.
Mhm.
And that leads us into fish oil. Fish oil is great for blood pressure, great for the heart,
Uh-huh.
just an all over body. It's good for the hair, the skin, the nails, and it's great brain food. I mean, everybody knows. And I'm not a big eater of fish, so I do take a fish oil every day.
You were telling me there's something specific to look for when you're buying fish oil.
Oh,
Why don't you mention
yes.
that?
There's numbers on the back, and all fish oil, even if you don't buy it from me, it should be broke down for you. And you want to look at the EPA number and the DHA number. EPA number and the DHA number, and you want to add those two together, and you want to make sure that you get 500 milligrams at least. That tells you that you've got a quality product, and that's the goodness out of the fish that you're looking for. You know, even on this one, it says you get 1,000 milligrams of fish oil, which, you know, fish oil's good for you, but it's that goodness that you're looking for, those EPA numbers and the DHA numbers, that's your omegas that you're looking for, and you want to make sure that that's 500 milligrams. So.
What about, we haven't really talked much about exterior. We're sitting in front of a wall of moisturizers and
Well, yeah, that's
and
what I
things
call my cosmetics, but it's not really like makeup where you're thinking, but it's personal care items. So.
And what's the benefit of, you know, these kinds of products instead
Well,
of
they're
just
more natural and they don't have a lot of chemicals in them. So, and they've got a base of like goat's milk in them. We've got a whole line that's dedicated to goat's milk. And they've got some fabulous smells.
so this includes what, shampoos and I see sinus nasal relief.
Yes,
or what
well,
else have
and
you got
a lot of ones that are based with aloe vera. I mean, it's just a more natural product than what you're going to find in you know, the big box stores. It's,
Were you always a person, I assume you use all these kinds of things now, were you always that
I
kind of
do
person?
now, but no, I wasn't. It was just something that slowly
From working at Molbecks and
got an
sort of
interest
took hold?
and felt better when I started doing some of these things, and then, you know, stuck with it.
Yeah. You have, well, what kinds of, there are a couple of groups of people who get discounts at your store. Why don't you mention those?
Oh, well, our senior citizens on Wednesday, 62 and over, every Wednesday, and then veterans too. We give a 10%, and all they need to do is show their veteran card.
10% on Wednesdays or what?
10% for the veterans any day, so any day they come in.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Any other products you want to mention? I noticed you have some drinks in cold, in a cooler and things like that.
oh, well, that's organics. Organic sodas, organic juices, and then we have some raw with wheatgrass in it. That real popular. Those are pretty new to the store, probably in the last 6 months or so.
You mentioned wheatgrass. What before we close here? What was the last product you sort of discovered something new about? What was the last new thing you learned?
Actually, it was wheatgrass. I didn't realize that you had to. The woman that discovered, I mean, it's supposed to be like the superfood, which it is, but she, to use it, she just basically chewed it like a cow, because it doesn't go through a regular juicer. So I do have a juicer that will handle it. It's expensive, but it's made out of stainless steel. But to get that juice out, it has to be a certain juicer to do it. So that really surprised me that most people that are diehard about wheatgrass just basically chew it like grass and then spit it out.
And what is it supposed to do?
Oh, it's just full of antioxidants and vitamins. And
really?
It's supposed to be.
Do you sell it here?
All over. I do.
In what form? Like the?
Well, in dried form. You'd have to.
Oh.
You grow it
So
like
you would
almost
hydrate,
like a sprout.
and
type
you would
of thing.
hydrate it then, or before you use it, or? Because you
Well,
said it's dried, or
you
would
grow it.
you just?
No, you grow it. You actually grow it. There's an
Oh.
actual like kit to grow it.
Oh.
And then you have to.
Oh, so you
either
sell it as a
chew
kit?
it or you juice it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All
but
right.
we have an easy form that's already bottled for you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Rhonda Masilian, owner of Molbeck Spice and Health Shop, thanks for being on the show. You've been watching Money
you.
Talks. Thanks to our producer, Greg Shaver. I'm Michael Burke, and please remember, Money Talks.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.